Here we are at Guitar Quackery. We are humidifying this space because the building is running the heat like crazy and the air is dry. I have this humidifier here. This is my old humidifier. It used to be there, but now in place of it is another humidifier. It's a different type, so you don't see a cool mist coming out of the humidifier. It's an evaporative humidifier. Yeah, you need that if you are going to take care of your guitars during the winter time when the heat is running. What are we doing today? We have a Custom Shop Fender Telecaster right here on the workbench, and it needs, some work on the nut and some work on the frets. Not in that order. First, we're going to do the work on the frets and then the nut. That's important because when you do work on the frets might end up a little lower depending on what it is that you're doing, obviously. So you need to finish the frets and then work on the nut. Now there's nothing stopping you from doing some preliminary work on the nut first. But yeah, actually, let me check. Maybe I should do that. I'm just going to eyeball it. No, I can just do the frets first. So what are we doing today? Well, we basically want to do a setup, but a setup is just as good as the guitar will allow it to be. Okay. The nut is the foundation. This is the nut. So if the nut is too high, for example, you can't achieve a good setup by adjusting the truss rod. The adjustment on this one isn't here, it's here. Yeah, you can't get a good setup by adjusting the truss rod and the bridge if something's not right with the nut. Also here, I always do a premium setup. That's the only option here, and these frets require some work to be done to them. Well, what is a premium setup is just what I call it. The frets come out really nice and shiny and slippery and easy to bend the strings, etc. Okay, why don't we look at the frets? All right, too many cameras. Why don't we look at the frets? We'll have a look. Because we need to talk about something. Okay. So, few things. Too much light. Okay. First of all, let's talk about this. This is finish. As you can see, it goes partially over the crown of the fret. And you can see that on both sides. It's chipping off a little bit. So it's a maple fingerboard. And when you have a maple fingerboard, usually you have a finish on the fingerboard, because otherwise the fingerboard gets dirty, because we touch it with our fingers and it doesn't look too good after a while. I know there are some maple fingerboards that don't have finish, but a finished maple fingerboard is more common. Okay, so there are two ways of achieving this. This, I call it finish over the frets. As you can see, the finish goes over the fret. So install the fret first on the maple board that's not finished, and then they spray over, and as you can see, the finish goes over the side of the fret. Now, how do they remove it from the top at the factory? I do not know. I have ways of doing that in the repair shop, but let's talk about that in some other live stream or perhaps video on the main channel. As you can see, when the finish goes over the fret, it tends to chip off and chip away, which is what we see on this side of the crown. And it's starting to look, well, some people would call it ugly. Okay, this green stuff isn't the finish that you see between the finish and the fret. This green stuff is called cheese. Fret cheese is going to start, well, it's going to continue to build up. And as you can see, the finish itself is fragile. It's going to continue to chip off. I'm not really doing much to get this to chip off like this. That's how it is. So when you have finish over the frets, you can expect this to happen. Now, it is different if you have nitro finish or poly, but neither ages gracefully. There are some benefits to this method, which is finish over the frets. There are some benefits. Well, as we can see, the finish is, in fact, kind of gluing the fret against the fretboard, right? To the fretboard. Okay, so that's an advantage. But since it will be chipping off, it's just a matter of time. That's not going to last forever. Okay, now here you have some fret wear, okay, which is another reason why we need, to do this fret dressing. When wound strings are left for too long on the guitar, you will see these scratch mark, tiger stripes. And that's simply because the same part of the string, of the wound string, is hitting the same part of the fret over and over and over again, right? Unless you do alternate tunings. And that's how it is. So that's one reason not to leave the strings on for too long. You can see the tiger stripes here and here. Okay, let's do some more talking about the fret itself. The factory polish isn't that great, so we can't just buff over this. We need to remove some material to get the surface completely flush so there are no scratch marks, and then we can do polishing and buffing. Yeah, that's the first fret, the second fret, not much of it, difference, almost the same. Again, we can see the finish on the side of the fret and how it's chipping off, and the green stuff, which is aged cheese. Here we can see that this is gonna break off sooner or later. Okay, what do we have here? Similar situation. Here you can see it already broke off. So there's nothing here, but here it's still holding on to the fret. And here it broke off. Okay. So what can we do about this? Well, I am going to do a full fret dress. So I will remove some more of this finish, as little as possible. I will make the frets smooth, do a polish. That's it. Then after that, we'll talk about the nut. Should I look at the nut now? I already examined this nut. So I'm not sure if this nut has been replaced. Hold on. We can see here that the finish, we don't see the finish on the side of the nut. Okay, so whenever we see this, we assume that the nut's been removed, maybe replaced, maybe somehow serviced. I don't know. Let's look at the treble side. Here it is. Yeah, zoom in a little bit. What do we have here? Look, it's been replaced or something. I don't know. I really don't know. I think I drew some conclusions when I looked at the guitar initially. But I don't know. Okay. What are we going to do first? I'm going to unwind the strings. With this tool, string winder. Okay. And this is a great little thing. I can put the strings right here. Okay. And then I can put the same strings back. Well, eventually I'm going to change the strings. But here, for the first part of service, I just want to put the strings here so that I can work on the fretboard. Okay. I have a small audience, I can tell. One of the people watching is the owner of this instrument. How do I know this? Well, I sent a text message with a link. But the other people watching are just viewers, regular viewers. There are some dings here. Okay, so right now I am going to just clean the fingerboard. With what? Good question. With a toxic substance. So I need a glove. This glove, so I don't touch it. I'm sleepy. I need a coffee. Now, speaking of coffee, if you feel like you're learning something, and if you feel like I've earned a coffee, there's a link below to buy me a coffee. Thank you. You don't have to, but If you do, thank you. All right. So this is the substance, the liquid thing that every guitar tech uses. And I don't like to talk about it too much because it's toxic. And I don't know if kids are watching this. They might try to use it, then I'm responsible. And I don't want anything to happen to kids or to adults who aren't careful, to anyone. But it's a popular product. It comes in a container. As you can see, I'm trying not to inhale these fumes, which is why my nose is not close to the fingerboard. So I'm removing some of the biofilm, also known as cheese, and I'm putting this outside here. I only used it a little bit anyway, and I'm putting it away for now. Okay. That's better. Okay. Now I'm going to use a crowning file. No, first let's check to see if there are any uneven frets. I'm going to turn on this extra mic so you can hear the rocking. Where am I? Microphone, mic. Hold on, this is camera 2. Is that it? I think maybe. Can you hear this? I don't know. So, if we hear rocking, we know there's a high spot. Okay, so far so good. No uneven frets so far. And that's it. All right, so nothing to level. Now I'm going to use a crowning file. And I need to find the right size. I think this size will be the right size. Yeah, but I'm not going to use the file. I'm going to use the file to hold yeah, sandpaper. What grit is this? 600 P. 600. Okay. I think that's a good start. So I've used this on another guitar, but I still have fresh paper here, and I want to use this side of the file. So the red dot needs to be visible. Not like this, but like this. Okay, wrap it around. And, oh, I need to protect the fingerboard. So there's a couple of options. Let's see if the fret shield will work with the scale length. It should be a 25.5-inch scale length, but sometimes Fender isn't precise. So let's see if it fits. It does. Okay, so I'm going to use the fret shield. I need to put some rubber bands. That's going to hold the fret shield against the neck. Maybe like this, huh? Maybe I don't need to use all 5 of them. How about one more here? The fret shield, I should put a link in the description. Yeah. Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to start with the first fret. Yeah, so this is removing some of the finish from the side of the fret, and it's also removing some material from the top of the fret, so that we end up with a really smooth fret. Okay, that's it. And now we move to the next fret. And we always use a fresh section of the sandpaper. Okay. This is going to take a minute. I see that there is, in fact, a small audience here. It says 4 people watching. One of them is the owner, I'm sure. The other one is me, because I am streaming outside. So 2 people watching this. 2 legitimate members of the public. Okay, I do see a few very small dimples on the frets. Yeah, but we're not doing like a full level crown and polish with fret dressing. Sometimes you can hide those dimples because you remove the surrounding material, and you know, it kind of hides the evidence of fret wear. And then you can, maybe if you're selling the guitar, you know, you get more money for the guitar. But you know, it's a legitimate service. And if you're not selling the guitar, your guitar looks and feels and plays better. Okay, so it is time to change this sandpaper, because this one is all used up. And let me see. Okay. I also need this. Okay, this is just to brush off all the powder. Okay, so this is the last one I did. What am I doing? Maybe I start like this, huh? So this is the last one I did, and I now continue. It is also possible to remove the neck, right? It is a bolt-on neck, but I didn't remove the neck because I'll also be working on the nut. So I wanted to keep the strings. I don't know if I should be talking. I don't know what I should be saying. Yeah. I've been working on a few guitars. I've already worked on a few guitars today, and I'll be working on a few more. And I'm not sure if I'll be live streaming all of them. This one's been here for over a week. I lost track of time. So the sandpaper is delicately hitting the finish on the sides of all of the frets. So that we expose a little bit more of the metal, and also kind of dress up that you know, ugly transition between the finish and the exposed metal. Of course, we don't see that from a distance, but eventually as sweat and skin particles start building up inside of those little gaps, the frets can start looking ugly. So this helps. It doesn't eliminate it 100% because that's the way these frets are made. I need to hit it one more time here, the same one on this side, because of that finish that I'm talking about. So this was a guitar that was bought used, and now we're just, you know, dressing it up. I don't think it's ever been serviced. The truss rod adjustment is from this side, but we can remove the pick guard and access it. Okay. It's a Custom Shop Fender. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think I did. So, once I'm done with the P600 grit, I'm going to do some light kind of surface dressing, kind of a light leveling of the frets. You'll see. Well, it would be easier to remove the neck. See, now I have a dilemma. Yeah, you know what? I think I'll remove the neck because I don't want to accidentally nick this. I'm going to make another tool for this job that's going to be shorter, so in the future I won't be needing to remove the neck. This is a fairly new technique that I'm now using, and I learned this from Ken Parker, the inventor of the Parker Fly guitar. I don't know him personally, but I exchanged some messages on his YouTube channel. He shows a technique like that, and he made a jig to hold the sandpaper. Coincidentally, now Music Nomad released a new product that is very similar. So I'm not really sure if it's inspired by the technique that Ken Parker has on his channel, or if it's independently developed. I really don't know. Okay, so this is what I'll do here. I will remove these strings, and it's very easy to put the the low E, the A, and the D, but then it becomes a little finicky and annoying to put the other three strings. But still, I think less work than trying to avoid this area. Yeah, so look at that. I need a flathead screwdriver for this. Okay, no problem. I'm not a big fan of flathead screws. Wow. They look bigger and thicker than conventional neck pocket screws. The strings are the Dario. I can tell because of the colors. What's that? Oh, it's a relic. It says right here. Look at that. Can I get a good image? I don't know. It's very faint, but it does say relic. You can see the E right here. Relic. That's a C right there. Okay. It's been pressed too hard, you see, a little bit, but now it is what it is. Yeah, let's just remove the neck. Look at that. Okay. It says relic here, and it says relic here as well. Okay, relic. I'm going to put the body aside, right there in the case. Yeah, I'm getting hungry and I have no food. Alright. Here is where it says that it's a relic. Okay. I don't know why they think it's a good idea to put a sticker. You know, it's shimming the neck. At least if they put it here, but they put it between these two screw holes, sets of screw holes. I don't know. Well, it is what it is. Someone tried to adjust the truss rod with the wrong tool. I can show you this. So we need to take care of this as well. You can see that this is a bit damaged. So let's see how it turns. Release. Okay. Yeah, this is removable and serviceable, right? We want to lubricate it and we want to take care of this. Hit it with a file. This seems to be okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'll just use a 3-corner file, I guess. Yeah. This edge is just sharp, too sharp for my taste. This I just removed. Okay. It feels better now. Like I said, I'm going to lubricate it here. I have Vaseline. That's fine. That's enough. That's plenty. Okay, so we have the lubricant here. And now, now we continue the work. Here is, well, to be honest, I can just place it back right away. Goes here. Make sure we're not cross-threading. And we'll adjust it later. Now it's just a little bit tight. Been streaming for 40 minutes already. And 55 seconds. Four people watching. Okay, let's continue with this. Oh, we need to put the fret shield back. I mean, I don't really need it if I'm careful, but I might scratch the finish, right? So if I do it without, I just gotta be really careful not to scratch the finish. Where was I? I think around here. This is done. This is done. This one. So the fret shield is a safety in case I slip. And I do want to put it there. Oh, I did this one. Okay. See, I'm not putting the rubber bands, I'm just holding it. Yeah, this is better than doing it on the guitar. Yeah. I tried. Sometimes you just gotta try, and if you see it's not ideal, then it's better not to persist, because we don't want to damage the guitar. So 2 more frets to go, and next I will do a kind of like a leveling job. It's just going to hit some of the high spots, because every fretboard has high spots, even if you don't detect them with the fret rocker. Okay. See? It's neat. And now, just want to clean up, and then to take my short leveling beam. So this is, like I said before, finish over the frets. There's another way to do it, which is frets over the finish. Those come out nicer, I believe, in general. But yeah, this is more common. I have this short leveling beam, and we need to adjust the truss rod so that we see a slight hump on the fretboard. So when I place the fret like this, if we have a slight hump, we don't get this flexing in the middle. So we need to tighten it a little bit. until we see a little bit of rocking. So now it's still flexing. And now, so let me turn on this mic again. If you can hear this. Okay, so this means that there's a hump somewhere around here on the fretboard and fingerboard. You can hear that. Okay, so now with the neck in a slide back bow, I can take this, and now I can simply do this. And that takes care of a few high spots, one small section at a time. Okay, and this is a finer grit than what I was just using, right? Which is why I'm doing it now. And this also helps with those dimples, right? Because we want to kind of hide them. We hide them by removing microscopic amounts of material around the dimples. And because I just used sandpaper that is even finer than the one I used on the first step, this is getting shinier. Now I'm looking at the frets, just looking at the reflection of the light as I turn. I can still see 2, even 3 dimples on the second fret. This one's the worst. So let me go over this again. And this is why we want to do the knot after the frets, because clearly I'm removing material from the frets. But it's such a small amount, it really won't make any difference. Now the reason why we want to have the neck in a slide back bow is if it's curved into an up bow, we would be riding over 2 frets and not touching those in the middle, right? Oh yeah. So this is where we're at right now. It's better already. Okay, and now I'll put this tool away and we'll take a finer grade of sandpaper. I'll try to make the call. I think I might use 1000. Why don't I look at the finish? Not the finish around the frets, but the finish, the scratch marks from Yeah. So now it's like stainless steel. What do you call that? Brushed stainless steel, right? I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. Just like that. All right. Too much light. Oops. Yeah. So I think based on my experience, you know, like looking at these things through the microscope all day long, I think the next grit I want to use is 1000 grit. Yeah. I don't want to go through too many grits, not only because it's more time consuming, but also because I don't want to remove material that doesn't need to be removed. So 1000 grit. I have one. I'm going to take 2 sheets. And once again, I will just be holding down the fret shield with my free hand. I'll put a link to the fret shield. I forgot to put it. I did put some links below. Yeah, Amazon affiliate links. So that means that I do earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. But, you know, just want to make it easier for you to buy the right thing if you are looking to buy the same tools and supplies, whatever. It does take a little longer to do the work when I'm streaming. But I'm trying to get better at it. Okay. So I'm going to make a tool for this on my milling machine, so I don't need to use a crowning file. But I will need a few tools, right? Because frets come in different crown heights and widths and all that. So again, for those of you who just joined, this is a fairly new technique that I'm using that I learned from a video by Ken Parker on his YouTube channel. I don't know him personally, although we started exchanging messages on his channel. You should really check out his channel. He's the inventor of the Parker Fly guitar, and he's got quite a few long-form videos on his builds, and he's a really creative person that really thinks outside of the box. I've worked on, well, at least one Parker Fly guitar that I do remember. Might have been 2. I mean, I've seen more than one. I've, you know, had the opportunity to play Parker Fly guitars a few times. I definitely worked on one a few years ago. Somebody did contact me about a Parker Fly guitar in, I believe, in late July. And I said, well, I'm about to go on vacation. So I asked him to get back to me in late August, but I have not heard back from that person. So I guess he found another shop to work on his guitar. Next time I see a Parker Fly guitar, I'm going to make kind of like a review video or something, some kind of video. They are, in fact, very innovative guitars. It's got some design elements that make it less versatile for people to play on stage. But it's not built like conventional guitars. So he really came up with new ways of building, fretboards and necks. In fact, the whole guitar has an exoskeleton, so it's not built like a conventional guitar. The frets on the Parker Fly guitar are made out of stainless steel. Okay, but stainless steel is just a family of metal alloys. So the frets on the Parker Fly guitar are 304 stainless steel, which is really hard. And it isn't like the stainless steel that is used for stainless steel fret wire that you can buy. So 304 stainless steel cannot be formed into fret wire. It's so hard. Even stainless steel fret wire that you can buy isn't all the same, by the way. Jazzcar makes a really hard stainless steel fret wire, but the stainless steel fret wire you buy from StewMac isn't as hard as Jazzcar stainless steel fret wire. So if you want stainless steel frets, you also need to do some research on the fret wire, because it isn't all the same. And they keep coming up with new stuff. Okay, I can see the difference if I look really closely in the finish. I'm trying to keep track of which fret I did. Okay, two more after this one. So it's really tight. And it starts off as a 1000 grit, but now it's no longer a 1000 grit, right? So maybe now it's closer to being 1500 grit. And I'm still polishing. And now we're done with this. Okay. So this is good for that's one guitar, 1.5 guitars, right? And yeah, maybe a little bit more than 1.5 guitars. So obviously this one is garbage now. Can no longer use it. And let's clean the fretboard off the bench. I don't use steel wool on my frets. Yeah, they already look better than what we started with. Okay. No more dimples, see? And we didn't really do a level crown and polish. We just did a, well, you know, what I call fret dressing. So, you know, there's no standard. I call this fret dressing. Some other shops might use the word, you know, the term fret dressing for some other service they do. I don't really know. This is what I call fret dressing. And yeah, I call it premium fret dressing on my invoice. Okay, let's put this away. Now I'll take micro mesh. Yeah, something else I can put a link in the description. I gotta remember to do this. And then we'll do buffing. So I'll put a link to all this, right? After the live stream, I will edit the description and add all these links. Oh, people are chatting. It's flat son, yeah. Dr. Why Tea Party Tonight is asking. It's a Fender Custom Shop 1 piece neck made of flat sawn maple, not quarter sawn. Yes, correct. Hard and very corrosion resistant. What are you referring to? Dr. Grandpa Joe says greetings. And Dr. Homer says, do you work on guitars from out of state? No, I do not. I'm out in California and I've watched enough of your videos to know that I trust you completely with my guitars. Thank you very much, Dr. Homer, but I do not. However, if you do have a friend or someone in New York City and you ship the guitar to that person and they're responsible to ship it back to you, then yes, because, you know, then I'm not doing the shipping. I'm not responsible for that. So that's an option. And thank you, yeah, for the kind words. And if you do send the guitar to a friend and the friend brings it to me, then we can put it on the bench and you can watch. Well, I don't live stream all the projects, but if you want me to live stream your guitar, then I will try to do it, yeah. If people request it. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, micro mesh. Okay, so let's tape off the nut. And by the way, it takes forever to get your guitar back. Sometimes. I don't do rush jobs anymore. It says right here. Yeah? Okay. This is right here so people can see the first thing they see. Okay. And then they still ask, I see the sign, but... The sign says it all. I got another sign here, if I can... here. I got signs outside. So, when people tell me they need their guitar for something, I just point to the signs. They're already there. So I need one more rubber band. Well, here. Okay, micro mesh starts at 1500, but I will skip that. So when you do these abrasives, you don't need to use all of them, right? So here I'm going to use my best judgment. Yeah, I put some more tape here. So I want to show you this. Here is a little exposed wood, right? Because there's no fret here, so you can either put the tape under or above, it doesn't matter, right? And the fret shield is kind of, that's the weak point. I wish they had extended this. I don't know why they didn't. Maybe the second generation of the fret shield will be extended so that it's more rigid. Yeah, so if you buy a fret shield, make sure you don't kink it here. That's a weak point right here, right? Because this is expensive. It's about $55, something like that. And they make 5 sizes. They just came up with a 34-inch for the bass, I think. I'm going to buy it. This one is, it says F for Fender, 25.5-inch scale length. But Fender guitars vary a little bit. They're not all 25.5-inch scale length, it turns out. Okay. So I'm going to skip the 1500 for sure. The next one is 1800. And I'm going to skip that one as well. Okay. And that's 2400. Yeah. I'm going to start with that. So I could go in this direction or up and down, because it isn't wood grain, so you don't need to worry about which direction you go. We're going to finish off with, what is it, 12,000 grit anyway, right? And then we'll do some buffing. So, all right, so now I decided to go in this direction. If you watch some other videos or archived live streams, you see me go up and down this way. And sometimes I start like this, and then halfway through I go like this. Maybe I'll do it on this one. Yeah, I used to offer standard and premium service, but it became unmanageable, and it also doesn't make any sense to offer both. Not for me. So, because this is a really small shop, I have a very small storage. I call it the vault because it's locked. It's got a combination lock and a fingerprint recognition. This one too, this door as well. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of storage here. Although the studio here is pretty big, my space is small. So instead of working, I'd rather work on one guitar for $300 than 3 guitars for $100 each. If that makes sense. Because then I'm only responsible for one guitar, and I only communicate with one customer for the same amount of money, right? And then I only offer the premium service. So if somebody shows the guitar to their friends, this is what it looks like when it comes out of here. That's what works best for me. So if you go to a gourmet steakhouse, you can't order a hot dog. But I'm not saying that it's wrong to have a hot dog when you want a hot dog. It's just you can't order that at a steakhouse. So that's the logic here as well. So I've actually reduced the volume on my workload. It's better to have less customers to deal with when you don't have a team. So this is now looking really shiny already. Yeah, you can see that if this camera wants to focus. Yeah. Everything locked up? Yeah, you feeling any better? No? You leaving through the elevator or? Oh, okay, cool. All right, I feel better. All right. I'll see you when next week? Tuesday. Okay, bye. All right. That was Dr. Nick. He's not feeling good today. Yeah. 3 more grits. The last one is 12,000 grit. So I said I might go like this. Whatever. Now I'm doing it this way. Maybe I should charge more for doing it this way. Takes longer, I think. I'm going to skip my leather stage. I don't know what to call it with the leather. The barbershop technique. Because, yeah, in this case, I would be going up and down with the leather. I want to make a tool that goes like this. And it's really not that critical if I skip it or not. I think if you've watched other videos, I think you might have seen me do that leather trick, which I read about in a magazine. I'm not sure if it, makes a big difference, but it can't hurt, so I do it most of the times. So once I'm done with the micro mesh, I'm going to use the buffing wheels. We're almost there. And then I always talk to the customers. I recommend that they polish their frets every string change and even between string changes. It's easy to do with the fret. It's called Frine Kit, Music Nomad. I can put a link to that as well. I won't use it here, obviously, because I'm doing all this. But once you get this surface, what you call it, quality, then it's a good idea to maintain it. It's like oiling the engine. Yeah, here. Okay. I think you got to put on your sunglasses for this one. Yeah, that's that. Now we take the power tool, the little grinder. I got two of them. And I will put a link to this, like I said. So no worries, it's all. I share the knowledge. It's all manual labor anyway. And knowledge needs to be passed on. Okay. Where's my phone? Here it is. So it comes with six different types of compound. And as you can see, I've used the green one. This is the one that I use. It's the red one. You can read what the other ones are for, but that's my go-to compound. And I got the little wheels. I'll put a link to that as well. And now let's get to work. I keep my face away from here because it does splash a little bit, like small particles. I don't want to inhale them. it's important not to overheat the frets. So that's why I keep moving back and forth. And don't overdo the buffing compound. More compound doesn't do anything. I think it's a wax with, you know, some abrasive mixed in or something like that. I mean, what else could it be, right? So it's fairly quick when you have a fret shield or if you taped off the fretboard. But if you go one at a time, you gotta clean up every fret separately and then switch to the other compound. As you can see, I'm holding it down like this just to hit the fret ends better. I didn't do it here, I think. Okay. So if you buy the fret shields, just so you know, they make 5 sizes for guitars, and the Gibson fret shield isn't the same scale length as the Epiphone, even if it's for Les Paul, let's say, right? The Epiphone scale length is more or less the same for all Epiphone guitars that are probably not for the old ones, right? But Epiphone made in China, I think it's all the same. What is it, 24.75 inch scale length, I believe. But Gibson, it's gonna depend. Not all Gibson guitars are the same. But generally speaking, a Gibson Les Paul has a slightly shorter scale length than an Epiphone Les Paul. Yeah. But it really depends when the Gibson was made. So if you want a fret shield for, you know, to work on Les Paul guitars, and you work on Gibson and Epiphone, you're going to need both. And if you want to start with one, then I would start with the, you know, whichever one is the more common brand that you work on. I would recommend buying the Fender first if you work on guitars, because sometimes I don't want to tape off a maple fingerboard. Depends when the Fender guitar was made. Sometimes the finish peels off, even with the delicate surface tape. So in that case, I just want to put a fret shield on the fretboard and not worry about this thing peeling off on me. So yeah, if you're gonna start with one, just to buy one, you know, if you're a tech, I would recommend buy the Fender first. But it's not gonna fit every fingerboard. That's the thing. I made a video about that on the main channel. I discovered that all Fender fingerboards are not, or I should say, I guess, fretboards are not the same scale length, because I noticed that one day the fret shield I wasn't able to fit it on the Fender neck. And then I measured and I saw that it was slightly longer. So I don't know what's up with that, but you know, that's how it is. I live streamed a review of a Fender Nashville Tele yesterday, and I'm going to use the recording of the review for the main channel as well. So there's going to be a shorter version of the live stream. But I made a mistake during the live stream when I was measuring the radius of the frets. I noticed on the recording when I was editing this morning. So I'm gonna have to cheat a little bit and redo that one part for the edited video on the main channel. Basically, when I use the radius gauge, a string got stuck under the radius gauge when I was measuring. So when I used the 10-inch radius gauge to show how the frets were over radiused, it was supposed to be a 12-inch radius on that board. Something wasn't working right, but I didn't notice when I was live streaming. So if you watch a replay of yesterday's live stream, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I don't remember now. You might notice that when you watch it, but it will be fixed in the long form video on the main channel. Okay, that's that. Now this is hot. I like to cool off the batteries before I start charging. And now I just want to remove all this polishing compound or buffing compound, right? Whatever you call it. I don't think it's really critical to remove it, but I still buff it up a little bit. I think this is my third live stream today. And I mentioned, I think it was in the previous live stream, that I was doing a guitar giveaway today for some kids. They're twins, my students. I also, sometimes I give lessons. I'm really not the best guitar player, but, you know, beginner to early intermediate lessons, I can handle that. So they're brothers, and one of them wanted a guitar with a Floyd Rose, so he was asking about that. Hold on, I'm looking for something that I used yesterday. And I put it away. Where is it? It's my Teflon sheet. Oh, here it is. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so the kid was asking about Floyd Rose guitars quite a few months ago. And I told him, no, you know, it's not for you just yet. But, you know, he's really curious, so he did a lot of research. I told his mom, don't buy him a Floyd Rose guitar. If he wants to, you know, experiment with that, I'll give him a guitar. So I made secret arrangements with the parents, and then they brought him here today, both of them. They're brothers. And yeah, and now he got a Floyd Rose guitar. All right. So that's the guitar giveaway today. I was going to give another guitar away today, but I'm too busy. I got too many guitars to work on, so yeah. So that other guitar will be given away to a customer at the studio here who rehearses here. And I don't know which guitar yet. I'm going to talk to her. It's a she. Maybe she wants an electric guitar or maybe an acoustic. I don't know. Okay. Still a bit warm. And here I have my other little Dremel tool. So because I put the paste on all the frets, I'm going to start with this one. Yeah. I don't really have anything against steel wool. I mean, if it's used properly, and if, you know, if you don't contaminate the pickups, not so much the pickups, but I think it really is not good for acoustic electric guitars, because they have a circuit board with miniature microelectronics. So if that steel wool gets inside of that circuit board, it can short circuit parts of the circuit. But you don't get this level of service with you don't get the same results with a steel wool polish. I know, I tested. I've been meaning to make a video about that. There's already videos about that on YouTube, but they don't use a microscope, so yeah, it goes fairly quickly with the fret shield. One thing I don't like about the fret shield is that, well, it's thicker than tape, right? So I think if you tape off the fretboard, you can really get down to the bottom of the fret all the way. In this case, it doesn't really matter because we have that spray over the side of the frets, right? So we wouldn't be able to polish the fret all the way down to the board anyway. So it's funny, sometimes people say, oh, sorry, the guitar will be like new. Well, not really, right? The guitar was never like this when it was new. Okay, so now I'm going to start charging. Nine people watching. All right, there's an audience. And now this. Okay. That's also Music Nomad. I got a lot of Music Nomad tools and supplies. I'm not saying that I like all of their tools. Some of them I don't like, but you know, I'll just give the positive message. I'll just talk about those that I do like. I kind of didn't like the fret shield when I first bought it, but it's found its uses. I don't use it for every job. I will use it on a maple fretboard for reasons I explained a few minutes ago. Then there are some Music Nomad tools that I like and use, like this one, but I wish they were built better because this keeps coming out all the time. I just need to keep resetting it. But I do like the cube. It's very versatile. All right, we're almost done. Okay. I'm sure there's a little bit of compound on the board. We'll clean that as well. That always happens. Yeah, so if you do use the fret shield, be careful not to scratch the frets after buffing. Because it is stainless steel, so it's really hard. It's harder than the strings, right? Unless you use stainless steel strings, which you should never use. Unless you like changing frets often. I heard some people use stainless steel frets because they are allergic to nickel. Yeah, that's bad, I guess, to be allergic to nickel and be a guitar player. So if you watch a replay of the beginning of this live stream, I'm sure you will see that this is different. Before I forget, I need to check my battery on my laptop. Yeah, it's low. Okay, cool. That's that. So now we're almost done with this. As you can see, I always protect the nut. All right. Let's clean the body. I'm by myself. Everybody left. I'll be working late tonight, I think. So I did notice this damage on the guitar. I did show it to the customer when we looked at the guitar together. Here, right? But at the time, I didn't know that this was officially a relic. It says here in the neck pocket, relic. It's stamped in the neck pocket, right? So I guess maybe, you know, it's part of the relic. I don't know. Anyway, it's all good. Let's clean the body. So these have only 5 screws. The reason I want to remove the screws, the pick guard, is for the adjustment of the truss rod. So I might as well remove it now. Maybe this screwdriver is just a little bit tight, although it did work. Here. So it's a flat head. I hope it doesn't slip, because then, you know, scratch the guitar. And then if that happens, I need to charge extra. So what would happen if I scratch the guitar? Well, simple. I would call the customer and I would say, would you like to have your guitar relicked a little bit? I could do that for $45 per scratch. Okay. Yeah. And it says Relic here as well, you see? I don't know if you can see that. Right there where the reflection is. It says Relic. Okay, they stamped these to make sure that, you know, in a few years from now, decades from now, people don't mistake them for vintage 50s or 60s guitars or 70s or whatever. Okay, this is all good. I kind of want to look inside to see if everything is the way it's supposed to be. And we'll also make sure that we don't hear any scratchy pots. Let me turn this mic back on. So I have a mic on this camera here. This camera. Where's that again? Here. Okay, so you should be hearing this, which means you hear ambient sounds now. Okay. I like to use this mic when people are rehearsing here because otherwise it gets too crazy, and I don't want to have copyright strikes because people play music, obviously. Okay, where are we? Okay, here. Where's my phone? Let's have a look. Looks good. Looks very good, right? Very neat. I don't think anyone messed with it. That's all good. Alright, so now I just want to turn on the amp, crank up the volume, and listen. I don't hear anything. Where's something? Yeah, so it's on, but no scratchy pots. Okay, this is on as well. You can hear that, right? Yeah, it's all good. I don't want to tap this, chrome plated with this, obviously. Okay, so this is good. So I don't need to spray it with the deoxit. I don't think you ever need to spray with the deoxit if you keep using the pots, right? If you keep turning them. All right. This is my Squire. Yeah, let's clean this. Sorry. I don't know where I put it. Microfiber cloth here. Okay. The best cleaning product, in my opinion, is the Music Nomad Detailer. It really is a great product. I use it on all guitars, and I've tried many products, and so Music Nomad also makes a similar product. It comes in the same kind of container, spray container, right? It says 1 on it. I don't like that one. It gets clogged up all the time because it's got some carnauba wax mixed in. So yeah, I use the guitar detailer. That's, in my opinion, the best one. And I've tried the Gibson, Martin, whatever. I've tried Dunlop. Okay. Looks like the audience is building up. 12 people viewing. Okay. 12. Yeah, so these live streams are experimental still. I guess there's an audience for those for this type of content, right? So on a Strat, I typically disassemble everything. On a Tele, I try not to. It's different because the pickup is mounted on the bridge plate. And also, in this particular case, I'm still keeping the strings on. So, yeah, I'll try to work around it. There's a scratch here, by the way. I don't know if it's part of the relic. Okay, so we're going to need to decide whether or not to shim the neck in the neck pocket. And I already looked at this, and I'm not going to shim it because on a Tele with these saddles, when you shim it, you will need to drive these screws a little deeper, which raises the saddles, which then raises these screws sometimes through the strings. And obviously, I don't think that's good. So no shimming of the neck on this one, because these screws are more or less like the middle saddle is quite flush as it is. Okay. That's that. Oh, look at that. It's got some kind of circle. I don't know. I've never noticed this before on Teles. I don't know. I'm not a historian. So maybe that's something, maybe that's replicating something, I don't know. Here there's a ding. So I don't know if you can hear these pipes banging, the heat pipes. Drives me nuts. Trying to put the neck back. Yeah. So now I can access this. So we do have a slight back bow on the neck that I adjusted for that, quick leveling job. So I'll keep it like this for now. It's a really annoying adjustment because it's not a cross, it's just a slot. Yeah. It is what it is. Hopefully I won't need to adjust it much. There is something very important about putting these screws back. I always talk about it. Well, always, whenever I remember to talk about it. Okay, so these are wood screws, and unlike machine screws that fit inside of a threaded hole or nut or whatever, these initially go into a hole with a smooth internal wall, right? And then they cut the threads into the wood. So now we want to put the screw back the same way. And the way we ensure that it goes back the same way is we drive it backwards first and push it down a little bit until it drops into that same thread that was cut in the wood. Click. It just clicked, right? You just saw that. And now we just drive it in. So on this one, it was just a little turn, 2 degrees, right? Let's see on this one. Click, all right? Click. Because if you don't do this, you'll be cutting new threads in the wood every time you remove the neck. And that will enlarge the holes in the neck. And then you'll need to fix that eventually. Or somebody will need to fix it. Click. Okay. So this isn't very tight now, so now we tighten it little by little. We don't overdo it. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'll be working on the nut. Okay. So I need to put the old strings back on. Let's put the tools away. Let me check my battery. Dr. Web Dev, hi from France. Bonjour, monsieur. Je vous entends. Non, je vous entends pas. Vous m'entendez bien? Fender Custom Shop charges more for more scratches. Why not? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Il est quelle heure en France? Il est quelle heure en France? What's the time in France? Okay. Okay. So the reason I kept the strings is because I need to cut the nut. So here we go. And this is annoying, right? Obviously. So it's either this or I need to put a new set of sacrificial strings and then remove them and then put the, final strings on. Whatever. Okay. I don't know what to say about this. You can see what I'm doing. You can see how tangled up it is and how annoying it is to do this. Yeah, but whenever I do a setup on a guitar, I try to do as much work as possible using the old strings. In other words, before I change the strings. Okay. And then do all the final touch-ups with the new strings on. And here where it really gets crazy with the plain strings, because they're so thin and curled up. Sorry, this is the boring part, I know. I'm just trying to save strings. Maybe I make it more exciting if I switch to another camera. Hold on. How about that? And I'm not going to be too picky if this is overlapping, because these strings are going to be removed anyway. Okay, one more. Yeah, I'm not sure how much of the ambient sounds you can hear. I think you should be able to hear this. Me tuning the guitar. I'm not sure because I started this live stream with hold on, with this, and then I turned on another microphone. Can you tell me if you can hear? Vous parlez bien français. Je suis né à Paris. Oui, mais j'ai vécu en France pendant mes années d'enfance. Oui. I'm talking to the French guy. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's a guy. Sorry. What was I saying? Okay, so can you tell me if you can hear this? I can hear you blocking the strings from. Okay, plenty loud. Okay, cool. No problem. So. Because I know sometimes it's, you know, not a good experience to watch a video if you don't hear the ambient sounds. But like I said, I use this when people are here. I started when people were still here because they play music, and it does get loud, and I don't want to have copyright strikes on these videos or on the channel, especially if they play, you know, Hotel California or something like that, which they play plenty. Okay, that's good enough. So, you know, the action is actually too low, but right now we'll just work on the nut, and then we'll do the setup. Let me put this away. Yeah, so the nut is also going to take a few minutes. Sorry. And you will see what I see through the microscope, right? It wiggles too much inside of the nut. Look at that. So yeah, I don't like that. And you can see here that a witness point at the back of the nut, right? So this is where the string is anchored, and then it wiggles here. And when that happens, when the string vibrates, so now I'm moving the string by hand as if it's vibrating, you can see that the takeoff point of vibration is actually here at the back of the nut. So you can't dial in the intonation correctly if the string scale length has basically been extended. You basically moved the nut towards the headstock. So now the question is, okay, so now the good news is this, that we have enough string height to work with. What am I looking at here? This. So if I push the string against the second fret, too much light, there's some space left here, and I can see there's plenty of space. I hope there's enough space to allow me to file this nut in the right direction. So right now the nut is higher at the back and lower at the front. It needs to be the other way around. Now, I wouldn't jump to conclusions. I don't think that this is a Fender Custom Shop work. We can see that the nut has been removed. So, and we don't know the history of this guitar. So yes, I'm not at all, like I said, jumping to conclusions. I don't believe that this is Fender Custom Shop work. Because I've worked on Fender Custom Shops. I've never seen this situation on a Fender Custom Shop. Now, for those of you who joined at a later time, why don't I show you the evidence? Here we're looking at the nut from the side. Focus, focus. And we can see, normally we would see that the nut would be oversprayed with the same lacquer on the side. And here we can clearly see that the lacquer's been cut or chipped off, and there's no lacquer left on the nut. I don't think this is the original nut. And we saw the exact same situation on the other side. I don't want to turn it around now because it's late and I need to get the work done. I've used a few types of nut files in my work. I really like these. Music Nomad. Yeah, the set is fine. I think that the sorry, I need to check something. What strings are we putting on this guitar? We're putting 9 to 46. Okay. All right. Fair enough. 9 to 46. Alright, let's just get to work here. I mean, I think this is a bone nut, but like I said, I don't know if it's the original nut. Let's just remove the string and start filing. One thing that I sometimes like to do is this. Okay, this is a mechanical pencil, 0.3 millimeters. And I sometimes like to do this just to see what I'm filing. I draw a line at the bottom of the string slot. So right now the light is hitting it in a way that we don't really see a black line, but I think you get the idea. I am just going to hit it at the back first. So right now I have it tilted like this so that I can hit it at the back, and you can see that I'm removing material from the back only. I kind of always forget about this, but on the low E, it's very easy to hit this part of the, finish because of the way the guitar is made. So, yeah, why don't we put some tape there? Yeah, so this tape rips easily in this direction. We can double it. And there. Okay, and this is what I see now. So I still want to hit it at the back a little bit. And I want to open it at the back as well, especially on this string. Yeah. Well, it is an improvement, but as you can see, there isn't much height here on the side, and yeah, the string slot is just kind of wide at the top anyway, right? So now I want to know if we still have any height left to work with. We do. So well, I just file it a bit lower. I do wish that I had more material here on the side. Yeah. Let's see. It is better, right? So if I play and then check the height, we can still file it lower. That's good news. Well, it is anchored at the front now. I think we can play the string and not worry that it's moving inside of the string slot. And we have still some height left to work with. All right, so that's good. We rescued this string slot. It's hard to explain, but I'm almost not pushing down on this as I'm filing. I think there's plenty of height, but I just want to take a measurement. Well, not as much as I thought, actually, but I can still go down just maybe one more pass. So I want to produce a fine finish, which is why I turn the file like this. You see? And I'm not pushing down. And as you can see, I'm hitting the tape here, so that's protecting the finish. And yeah. I could still go lower. This looks good. Double check. Very good. It's not convenient for me to measure it like this, but I can show you. So here I push it against the second fret, and this is the leftover distance here. Right? That's when I'm doing this. Right? And it's minimal. So a string can be at a zero, kind of close to zero distance from the first fret when you do this test. It shouldn't be below, although it can tolerate a little bit below. But yeah, it's to be avoided. Okay, we're going to move on to the A string. And then, we'll be almost done with the setup. Let me just do a quick visual inspection of all the strings. So I don't believe I'll file the high E and the B. Maybe the B. Nah. All right. This shouldn't take too long. So now I move it like this so that I can look at the A string, which is this one. Let's first inspect this. You see this motion? Okay. What is up with that? I guess that's why we're fixing the nut. I don't recall from the initial exam of the guitar, but it's the same thing. You can clearly see that there is a witness point at the back, so you know the string is really anchored at the back, which is why we want to be filing the back first for sure. So we want to remove this material from the back. And just kind of leave like that. So I didn't touch the tip at the front, right? And now I want to check the height just by eyeballing it first. And I feel that there's plenty of height left to work with. So these are great files. I never use those plastic holders when I use these files. I think it's better not to. We can go lower. Focus on the string slot. So I think that this is still, this shiny part is still the untouched. I haven't filed that deep yet. It's getting there. This could be good as it is. I think it's a little high for my taste, but it's already in the acceptable range. Maybe that's it. Let's check. We can go lower. Yeah. We could leave it here. Or just one more touch. Yeah. Let's see what we got. This is good. That's what I'm doing, right? And if we check, it's now anchored at the front, and you can see that there's slack at the back end, right? So that there's no string binding. And now let's work on this string. That's the D string. Same thing. Look at that. It's moving, sliding inside of the nut. What do we have here? Yeah, I think what we see is that the string slot is simply too straight, right? So we should hit it at the back end. And that's the thing, these string slots, they shouldn't be straight, right? They should be curved. And that's what I'm trying to do when I hand file. That's why it goes like this, and then it goes straighter, right? So now already with this adjustment, let's see. It's still moving inside of the string slot because there's still a high point somewhere around here, I think. Checking the height, we got plenty to work with. I think I see a better break angle already. You know, my worry is that it's also been cut a little wide. So, but this is in fact much better. Look at that. All right. This is much better. And you know, this is really the level of detail that is really hard to diagnose without the microscope. So, yeah. So if you watch my main channel, you know that I use the microscope all the time. I do use it on every nut repair job. I don't need to measure yet because I can see it's too high. I clean the files often. You see, very little motion. And that's when I'm doing this, right? So this is how we want to leave it. And you can see it's a much better situation. Now, unfortunately, these string slots were cut too wide at the top. So, you know, I think it's going to work in terms of getting the right intonation. Yeah, I do think it's going to work. What do we see here? Wow. Same thing, right? Except now we have a problem. Well, we still have some height left on this one. So hopefully we can work with that, because, you know, the string is very low as it is, but we got some height left. This is what we see. That's going to be a 17 gauge file for this one. I'll just hit it at the back, and let me zoom in a little bit. I want to see something. Yeah, I think it's just too wide. And again, I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't know that this is the original nut. We don't know. I want to remove this material from here. Okay. Okay, we can file it lower. And we should. It's approaching much better. If I show you here, you can see now it's anchored at the front. You can see that clearly, right? Now, fortunately, I think I can go lower a little bit, not by much. I tune it a little higher so that the string can push the plunger when I take a measurement. Well, it is pretty much where I want to leave it, okay? You see that little motion? That's what happens when I tap, yeah? Let's just not mess with it. Let's see this string, that's the B. Well, you see what I see. The string, when I block it, it's moving from here, right? Let's have a look. See, I don't even see that it's actually high at the back. But let's hit it with the 13 gauge file. You can see that 13 gauge, yeah. So I'm just hitting the back, just like that. I could go lower. I think it's better. So if I show you, focus, yeah. It works now. Okay. In fact, this one's good. Let's just examine the bottom. Yeah, I still want to hit it at the back a little bit. It's gonna increase. So when we remove the material from the back, we'll have more pressure at the front, right? And as you can see, I'm not touching the front. And because this height I already measured before is what it is, I am done with this right now. It's an improvement. 8 people watching. Okay. 8 people watching. Thank you for watching. Okay. We fixed the frets. We fixed the nut. We cleaned the guitar. We checked the electronics. And we're almost done. Okay? And I think that the owner of this guitar is watching. I think. I know he was. I don't know if he's still watching. I'm sure he is. So this is Guitar Quackery Live. I don't know how many of you are aware of this. This is not the main Guitar Quackery channel. It's the auxiliary channel. And yeah, I just started this to well, the idea came to me during the COVID lockdown. I started doing curbside pickup and delivery, so pickup, drop off and pickup, curbside, right, when we were doing it outside, and then using cameras to do the diagnostics, but not from this location, from Brooklyn. And I also had this idea, that I would do then live streams so customers could watch me in real time with a little bit of a delay, as I work on their guitars. But the other location isn't good for this. Okay, that's where I do my video, for the main channel, all the editing, and you can see me with the Guitar Quackery logo, and I have a green screen, and I still have a microscope there and a whole bunch of cameras, but it's really not a workbench. My work area is actually in the basement, and it's not as nice as this. So I equipped this location with a whole bunch of cameras, and one reason for the high-tech equipment was to do live streaming, which is what I'm doing now. But I don't want to do live streaming on the main channel because subscribers who have subscribed to watch the type of content that I post on the main channels have not subscribed for this type of content. And this is different. So I don't want to confuse my subscribers. So this is Guitar Quackery Live, not the same channel as Guitar Quackery. So if you like live streaming, this kind of live streaming, basically to catch me in real time as I work, as I do my job, you can subscribe to this, and then you will get notified when I happen to be live streaming, and I don't live stream every day. But if you prefer the other content, then then subscribe to the other channel, or you can subscribe to both. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. All right. I've been streaming for 2 hours, 50 minutes and 21 seconds. Okay, but now we're almost done. So that's that. And if you are a technician, or if you just like to tinker, if you like to work on your own guitars, I hope this is useful to you. I will edit the description to add some more links, because I used some equipment that you might want to buy. Okay, and those links will be Amazon affiliate links. I already put some links there, which means I get paid a small commission at no extra cost to you. Speaking of money, this channel isn't monetized. I know when people are live streaming, they get like super chats and boom, boom, boom. This you can't do here yet, because the channel isn't monetized. But you can click the link that says buy me a coffee, and then it's the same thing. Thank you. You don't have to. I'm just saying you can. Let's finish the setup. I need this tool. Okay, it's a great little tool, Stumac. So this is where I keep my truss rod wrenches, and one of them is this. Okay, it's a really good tool. Well, I mean, you need it if you work on guitars. And then I have these. This is a set of radius gauges. So this is the 9.5. Okay, so I'll show you how this works. So we're going to do a setup now. Now, let me show you this little tool. This is the tool that I'm going to use if I need to adjust the truss rod. Stumac, I think you can understand how this works, and the truss rod adjustment is here. Okay, so we can use this tool to adjust it. I already lubricated the truss rod nut, so on some truss rods it is possible to remove the truss rod nut. Okay, not to be confused with this nut, right? It's a different kind of nut, and we can lubricate it. It's a good idea to lubricate it because it's a moving part. When I adjust the truss rod, when I measure the neck relief, I always do it on the bench. I know that people said that you should do it in playing position because it's going to be different. But if I always do it on the bench on every guitar, and I know what that measurement is just easier, and it's consistent from guitar to guitar. And it's kind of like the logic of going to the doctor and they take your blood pressure when you are resting. And of course, you could say, well, but I'm not resting all day, so we don't know what my blood pressure is when I'm running or when I'm walking. But that's difficult to control. If you always measure the blood pressure when, the patient is resting, if you're a doctor, then that's your standard, right? So I always measure the relief on the bench like this. But I do make sure that I put the neck rest here so that I don't add additional relief to the neck. Okay, enough talking. Here, this camera. When all the frets are nice and even, I like to get the relief at 6/1000ths of an inch or 0.15 millimeters. So this one is Imperial 0.006 inches, 6/1000ths on the 8th fret. So it's not going through. So the truss rod is a little bit too tight. Oh. The strings need to be in tune. Okay, so some of them were tuned to a higher pitch, so still I need to release the truss rod. Where am I? So this one only has one, it's, one slot. Makes it more difficult, but yeah, not a great situation, right? Let's see if I can use a screwdriver. Gotta make sure I don't damage the pickup. I'm just kind of testing how it fits. Okay, and I'm going to use this feeler gauge here. And now I can continue with this. Okay, let's take another measurement. Three, 4, 5, 6. Next one is 8. Okay, so I need to tighten it back a little bit. Let me check the treble side first. That's 8 going through. Okay, so I need to tighten it back. This is just going to be a preliminary adjustment. We're going to put the right strings on the guitar first. Okay, 8 no longer goes through. 6 1/1000ths goes through. On this side, 6 goes through, 8 does not. Okay, so I can show you from here. This is 8, 8, right? This does not go through. And the next one is 6 1/1000ths. It goes through, right? That's it. So that's good, right? We want to know if this is a 9.5 inch. I think I already measured, but I forgot what it was. Radius fretboard, fingerboard. Just pick a fret, right? Any fret. No, that's not going to be a 9.5. It's probably 7 1/4. Yeah. No surprise there, right? It's a vintage Blackguard vintage spec. Okay, so this is where it is. Okay, does it fit in the middle? It does not. We can check another random fret. But the frets were even, right? So the edges of the frets are rolled a little bit, but it's basically, it doesn't fit through, right? It's basically, as you can see here, 7.25 inch radius fret, which means now we can take this same radius gauge and we will use it to adjust the radius on the other side, on the saddle. So I don't need this, and you know what, I'm just going to remove the strings. There's not much to be done with this setup just now. The intonation is going to be just, like it is on a 3, on this type of bridge with the 3 saddles. Okay, you can just cut the strings off, but I always unwind them because I like to make sure that the tuners are working. To be honest with you, I Normally I like to do that at the very beginning. I'm sure they're working. But it doesn't matter if you just cut them off, right? It's not going to hurt the neck. People ask, it's a frequently asked question. Be careful with the vintage Fender or vintage spec Fender decals. Don't put any tape over these, because you're going to rip it off. Ask me how I know. Okay. And now I'm going to cut the strings off. Make sure once again that the fingerboard is clean, and then put the new strings on. We are going to put the Dario XS coated strings on this guitar. They are self-lubricating. I don't really need to lubricate the nut, but I will anyway. Well, another thing that I should link in the description is this. It's Teflon-based lubricant, okay? And it's very good. It comes with these little brushes. You only need a really tiny amount, and you put it here. That's it. This is too much. Okay, now it's not gonna fit here, as you can see. So I have another one that's gonna cut off like this, and you just kind of, the string is going to pick this up anyway, and you can then just kind of okay, that's good. Keep it simple. All right, I keep this here. Yeah, I did say I wanted to make sure everything is clean. And we are going to open a new pack of strings. Just double checking here. The customer, I think, wanted 9 to 46. Let me just double check that I'm looking at the right. Yeah, that's the right ticket. XS 9 to 46. Okay. Okay. I mostly sell the Dario strings. Sometimes people insist on other brands, so you know, I get what people want. This is it, the Dario XS. Focus, focus. It says right here, 9 to 46. Yeah. We're almost done with this project. and then I have other guitars to work on. Which angle should I show you? I guess this angle. These are coated strings. You don't want them to rub against the metal parts too much. So when you string up a guitar that's like this one through the body, just be gentle, because you don't want to scratch the coating. The coating is a membrane. See, so I'm pushing them slowly and pulling them out slowly. The coating is a membrane on the wound strings, but it's a different coating on the plain strings. Okay. Now let's put the strings on. How do you put the strings on? It depends on the headstock and on the tuning machines. So let's briefly go over this. Again, I need to keep moving because I got other guitars to work on. These are tuners of the same height. They're not staggered. And there's only one string tree. So this string will require more wraps in order to achieve a break angle from not the G. The D a little bit less. This one you don't want to wrap too many times because you don't want to have a too severe of a break angle from here. It's a short distance, and this is at a lower level. So when you do this, just make sure that the string is pulled all the way. You go over the saddle and throw the nut over there, and it depends really on the depth of the tuner, but on this one I typically kind of cut it like around here. Go inside, okay, make sure it's all the way. I do have a video about that. You don't want to put too many wraps because you don't want to have too much of a break angle here, because it actually lifts the string on this side, on this particular string. So this is a very little wrap, right? Okay, and now we do the same for the A. Just make sure it's all the way through. Here, maybe I cut it around here. So, as you can see, I'm keeping the string away from the nut, and then I drop it in. Right? Now, on the D, it's a thinner string, so it wraps differently, but I do want to extend it a little bit, like that, because I want more wraps to get sufficient break angle, because it doesn't have a string tree. Oh, what am I doing? This. Okay. Always check the saddles. G. Now the G string is important. You need more wraps. So I go past 1, 2, past that, like around here. Now, that is specifically for this guitar without the staggered tuners. The tuner of the same height as this one. Okay, so this is going to take more turns. And this is going to keep the string down. So we just achieve the same, more or less, break angle, right? These two strings use a string tree, so they shouldn't be wrapped too many times. So maybe like this, maybe a little more. Okay. You do want a sufficient number of wraps on these, because well, they can slip out otherwise. And is this tight? Yeah, it didn't look tight. It wasn't. Is this? Yeah. I think we need to tighten it after we put both strings there. Okay, now it grabbed the string. We'll tighten it after we put the other string there. So the other last string, we pull, put it there, and okay, so we estimate 1, 2, and a little bit more tuning post. I'll show you why. Especially on a 9-gauge string, it can slip. What I like to do is I like to lock it. So I go like this, like that, pull it, okay, and now go this way. Oh, see, I messed up. No big deal. And I go under, and now I wrap it. Especially on a 9-gauge string, it can slip out. So I do that little lock. I was having some issue here, wrong position. So let me release the string. I wasn't paying attention. Okay. This is better. Just tighten a little bit as I'm checking the saddle on the other side. Yeah. I do have recycling here for the strings, so these are the string ends. And like I said, I want to tighten the string tree now that both strings are under the string tree has two grooves, right? So now the strings are holding this. Maybe a little tighter. Okay, it's a bit annoying how they made it. Okay, I think that's better, right? I think the screw is actually not at a 90-degree angle here. I don't know if you can see that, but you know, I didn't make the guitar, that's how they made it. Yeah, right. How many people watching? 5. Okay, cool. So we'll tune the guitar, finish the setup. Sometimes I stretch the strings just a little bit, not too much. I can make a video about that and explain why. Right now, I just need to get this job done. Where's my pick here? You can hear the pipes, banging pipes, drives me nuts. Okay. And now we are going to do the string height. Yeah, so we want to be able to bend the strings. That's quite a thick neck. Yeah, it's a chunky neck. It's like a baseball bat. I think that's like a 1-inch neck, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So I was saying the string height. So here I have this. I need a screwdriver. Hold on a second. Wow, a lot of comments. Music Nomad, you also like? Yeah. Yeah, I like many of their tools. But like I said, those that I don't like, I don't even want to talk about them. You see which ones I like. So yeah, just because I might not like some tools, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't like them. All right, so okay, what string height? So I start with okay, so now, you know, this camera isn't showing much, but I guess you can still see what I'm doing. And take the feeling, sorry, no, we need to check the relief first. What am I doing? Because we changed the strings, right? So we are going to check the relief. And hopefully we don't need to readjust it. Yeah, 6/1000, 6/1000, that's what we had before. But we changed the strings. I'm not sure what gauge strings were on the guitar before. 6/1000s goes through, 8/1000s goes through. So there must have been 9s before, right? And let me check the other side. 8 kind of doesn't want to go. So I just need to tighten just a tiny little bit, okay? Just a little bit. Boom. Okay. And now check again. 6, 8. See, it's getting stuck. Just to make sure it's the same on the other side. 8 is getting stuck, and 6 goes through. This is great, right? So this is 6 over here. I'm holding, this went through, and I can show you here. It's 6/1000s, right? Very good, right? Now let's adjust the string height. No, we know it's a 7.25 inch radius fretboard. So we'll adjust the high E, then the low E, and then where's the pick here? Okay, like that. What else do I need? This action gauge. You won't see what I'm doing. I'll just tell you what I'm doing. I'm looking at the height against the 12th fret. It's below 60/1000ths of an inch. I know that this is going to fret out when I bend. It frets out, right? Cannot bend it on a 7.25 inch radius. But I might be able to do just slightly above 60. So let me raise that. And also, it's a double saddle, right? So I raise the B as well a little bit. It is really a good idea to plug it in. Oh, here. Too loud. That's actually very good for a 7.25 inch radius. We are at 65/1000ths of an inch. I'm going to leave it right there on the high E. I don't always get it like that, so it really depends on the topography of the fingerboard. This a small change in topography can affect, especially on a 7.25-inch radius. Okay, so now I want to adjust the bass size, so it's way below what I want it to be. I want it to be more higher. Hold on, where's this? Why isn't this catching? Is this screw damaged? Okay, so there's something amiss with this screw here. So I need to check this. Okay, no microscope, you know, whatever. Well, this is very lame. It's basically a defective screw. Unbelievable. Now that's Fender, okay? That's not somebody changed the screw later. And that they didn't see this when they were, you know, doing a setup at the factory, that's, you know, lame. I'll show you. Let me put this away. We'll look at it through this. Unplug. Okay. As you can see here, that's the screw, and you can see how it's, you know, very shallow, that slot that should accept the screwdriver, right? The head. Now look at this one. It's much deeper. Much deeper. And this one is also much deeper. So we go back to this one. You can see that it's shallow, and it's also kind of damaged. It's damaged because it was shallow, so whoever tried to adjust it was having a hard time, and the screwdriver was slipping and damaged it. But it was shallow to begin with. So this is really, really lame that, you know, that they didn't notice this at the factory. So what are we going to do about this? Well, I need to raise the string, right? So what I'll do is, let me plug it in again. There's always something, right? Okay. Release the tension and try to turn the screw like this. Now I can kind of turn it. Gotta be really careful not to keep slipping, because that would keep damaging it. And where's my action gauge? Maybe you see better if I come closer here. And then I switch to this camera. So here I want to, yeah, so I am here at where pretty much I want to be at around 85. Now the bass string, it really depends on the player. I can go even a little higher, just a bit. Okay. I'm good with that. Okay, and now I want to raise the other strings higher, kind of more than we should be. Okay. So what I'm doing is I am detuning the strings so that I can raise the saddles. Higher than they should be, right? It doesn't matter now that the guitar is not in tune. That really is not important right now. Okay. We're almost done. We'll do this and then we'll do the intonation. Put this here. Where's my, oh, and the camera's here. 7 people watching. Plenty of comments. See, when I first started doing these live streams, I said I don't want to do tutorials, and now I'm doing a tutorial. All right, doesn't matter. Yeah. So we just want the strings fairly tight. We just want to adjust the radius. Here it is. That 7.25 radius gauge. Okay, we place it here. Okay, these 2 strings are at the right height, and we know that we have a 7.25 inch radius fretboard. So now we just want to lower. See, the string is too low, right? So we want to raise it even higher. And these 2, they gotta go higher a little bit for now. So this is what I was talking about before. These screws, yeah, you don't want to shim the neck if these screws are already pointing up too much. Okay, so let's fish this out. Okay, so now that's touching. That's touching, right? So now let's lower this string just a little bit. Almost there, right? Just a little bit more. That's it. Oh no, you see now it's too low. Okay, we do the same with the B. Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but that's touchdown, right? Now let's do the same with the G. Okay, and the D. That's it. Now we've matched the radius of the saddles to the radius of the frets, right? That makes sense? Makes sense. And now we need to do the intonation, then the pickups. At this point, I can even return the pick guard. Why don't I do that? This is it. Yeah, what I do sometimes is this. I put the gold seal of approval under the pick guard. This is from the New York City Department of Guitar Maintenance and Repairs. I am the commissioner of guitars for the city of New York. You've seen this? This is the official badge. You can see what it says. New York City Department of Guitar Maintenance and Repairs. Okay, this is the official badge. It's serious business. And here I have the embosser and the gold seal of approval right there. Like that. This is the gold seal of approval from the New York City Department of Guitar Maintenance and Repairs. And this is going to go here. Look at that. So now this guitar is safe to be played. Okay? It's passed inspection. It passed the inspection. We can play it. But you see, I almost forgot. Because it's late, right? We need the pick guard off to adjust the pickups. Yeah. I don't spend a whole bunch of time adjusting pickups. It's funny because I was putting the gold seal of approval before the guitar was properly set up. And I think we just gained a viewer. Oh yeah, 2 viewers, not 9 viewers, yeah. I want to show you this. This is the certificate of authority. Okay, you can see New York City, from the New York City Department of Guitar Maintenance and Repairs. So Guitar Quackery can perform services on guitars. This is here, so the customers can see. Okay. I think this humidifier ran out of water. It's past 11. Okay. I need which screwdriver? This one. And maybe the other one. Yeah. Pickup height. Okay. So on this type of guitar, there are two screws here to adjust the pickup, and you need to remove the picker to adjust it. That's why I couldn't do this. And then there's three here. Okay. So I'm going to raise the treble sliders a little bit. I'm also looking at the height. I'm eyeballing this. I really never measure this. This is much louder, right? We want this to be a little bit louder. Let me just check. You know what? I want to raise this pickup a little more. It really depends where you play, because the height of the strings will change when you fret down the notes. But I want to raise this pickup a little bit on both sides. This is getting too close to the string where I really don't want it to be. This pickup is louder and it's further away from the strings. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, and now we can put this on. Yeah. Oh, wrong pickup. I don't know. It is okay for the bridge pickup to be a bit louder, so I think we're good. Always be careful with the flat head screwdrivers. I'm getting a message about the battery outside. Let me check this battery. Hold on, if you don't mind, I need to do this. I'm getting some kind of message outside about the battery. I don't know what. I'm gonna have to check later. I don't know if you can hear that. I thought it was this camera, but you know. Where's the screwdriver? We're almost done. The intonation is just approximate on this thing. Okay, so this needs to move a little bit. So between the D and the G, it's never going to be right. Yeah. I'm good with that. Okay, that's it, friends. Yeah, I gotta work on another guitar, so I'm gonna take a short break. Dr. Homer gave me a thumbs up. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for watching. And maybe I'll see you later. I have other guitars to work on. Let's check. Okay, so this one is done. Work completed. Oh, and you know what I do? What I like to do is this. I'll show you. Let's put this away. I like to send a picture to the customer, to my customers' pictures for the family album. I'll show you. So the way I like to do it is clean up my work area a little bit so it doesn't look too messy. Put the guitar here. Maybe bring the microscope here, like that. And then I have a screen there, so I like to put my logo on the screen. And then I take a picture. So I'm going to send a picture to the customer. I'll show you. There's a mess here. Just kind of like that. And that's the picture. Now, I'll show you what the picture looks like. That's the picture. So as you can see, what do you see? Well, you see the guitar, and you see the name, Guitar Quackery, the Guitar Technicians Guild, and the workbench. So now what I do is I just send it, boom, and that sends it to the customer. And yeah, and the customer receives this text message. So this was the previous text message to watch the live stream, and then they get this, and I say done. Boom. Yeah. So what happens now? Well, they're gonna show this picture around, and it's kind of like my business card. It says Guitar Quackery, and it shows the workbench, and they can show that they had a link to the live stream. Yeah, word of mouth. Okay, friends, thank you very much. So if you liked any of this, let me know by clicking, you know what, Grandpa Joe, excellent work, thank you. And YT Party Tonight, thumbs up, thank you. Okay, yeah, so they get the message that it's done, text message, and it advertises the service, because now they're likely to go around to the, oh look, I got my guitar serviced at this place, check this out. Okay, I think you get the idea. So yeah, so thank you very much, and I'll be working late. I have other guitars to work on. Maybe I'll work on, let me check. Maybe I'll work on Taylor GS Mini. No, I don't think so. Martin, maybe. 0015M, maybe that, or I have that Nashville Tele I got to finish from yesterday, maybe that, or maybe a Fender Telecaster. Yeah, one of those. I don't know yet. Okay, I'll see you soon. Thanks, bye.